Welcome to the Red Eye. I'm Wade Englehart.
I'm Ploy Chutinthalanon.
And I'm Jameson Nichols.
So on today's show, we will be discussing those future failed plans of yours called New Year's resolutions. Next, we will take you inside the high school's senior area, H Courtyard, and the problems that have been occurring with it.
Later, we get some cooking tips from our very own Wade. Then we look back at the big events that happened in 2013.
Back to New Year's resolutions. Most people around the nation have started and stopped their New Year's resolutions by now. Our on-location producer, Molly Long, asked people at Ithaca High School what their resolutions were.
The new year. It's time for new beginnings and resolutions, most of which tend to focus on becoming healthier, either by working out more or eating healthier. Let's take a look at what resolutions people at Ithaca High School hope to accomplish this year.
My New Year's resolution is to take yoga classes every weekend.
What's your New Year's resolution?
For the Knicks to make the playoffs and for Carmelo to drop 40 ducats every game.
My New Year's resolution was to become better friends with Aiden.
Okay, so since I teach film studies, I'm going to try to shoot for about a movie a day on average. So 365 films this year. If I can fit that in, probably over summer break, that'd be really fantastic.
So I've been thinking this over, and I'm thinking that because I'm already awesome, that I'm just going to keep that awesomeness going for 2014.
I would have to say one of my New Year's resolutions would be to try new things, such as skiing, I would say snorkeling also, just fun, adventurous stuff, I would say.
What great answers. Watching a movie every day is probably going to be a little bit hard. WRED producer Avon is here in the studio to ask Jameson what his New Year's resolutions are.
So, Jamie, how was your New Year's?
It was pretty non-eventful.
So, do you have any New Year's resolutions?
Well, I did. It was to get real swole in the gym, but I just kind of stopped. I gave up.
What were your plans on how to accomplish your resolutions?
Well, first of all, I was going to go to the gym every day, and that just never happened. What about you?
Well, I kind of had the same thing going on. I was planning on getting real swole, but, you know, I've been busy.
All right. In other news, H Courtyard, the senior area in IHS, has been under some controversy of late. Molly Long and Joseph Lunin were sent out to check it out.
H Courtyard is a place where only seniors can go, regarded by the school as a privilege. Most seniors at IHS are familiar with H Courtyard, but many don't make use of it. Recently, new rules and regulations have been put into effect, creating some resentment between students and the rule makers.
Today, we'll be going into H Courtyard to see what seniors think about these rules and if they see any solutions to current issues in H, such as bringing iPads back or even eating in H Courtyard. We'll also be interviewing Mr. Powers to get a perspective from a person of authority in the school.
H Courtyard has been around for quite a while and is a place where seniors can go to simply hang out or to study. Recently, however, the iPads that once inhabited the tables of the courtyard were taken away due to misuse, and the area has also been closed in the past due to teacher complaints. We interviewed some students on the privilege of having this senior-only area and what they think H Courtyard provides them.
Well, I think H Courtyard is like a great way for seniors to connect, especially being our last year, and it's a good way for us to all bond.
I think the privileges are good, and I like the iPads, and I think it's a good place for seniors to come and hang out.
Do you miss the iPads, or do you think they were useless?
I don't think the iPads are really a big deal. I don't think really anyone used them, and if they did, it was like misuse. And we have the library, so
I miss the iPads because I could type on them during free periods, and I would use them to get some of my homework done.
If the TVs were usable, would you use them?
I don't think really I'd use the TVs very much.
If they give us a list of like approved channels, that'd be okay. But like, I don't know. I would just watch SportsCenter. I feel like that's what a lot of the kids would watch.
What is your impression of the social aspect of H Courtyard?
Sometimes I feel the way like the chairs are set up kind of creates groups and not everyone comes together.
I think it's good for socializing. Free periods, all of us come in here, and it's good to get homework done, and just, yeah, it's good for socializing. The couches are nice.
To get the perspective of a rule maker and enforcer in the school, we talked with Mr. Powers, the principal of Ithaca High, about some of the rules regarding H Courtyard and even why they are enforced in the first place.
So there are some basic rules and expectations that surround H Courtyard. Some of them involve food and drink, right, and not having food and drink inside the H Courtyard space. Some of them involve respecting the furniture that's basically brand new. Some of them have to deal with the use of the iPads that are in the space and making sure that they remain unlocked and available to be open to everyone. The iPads that were taken out for cleaning and servicing and updating and getting all the new apps installed on them were done around Thanksgiving break, and with the snow days and things being canceled there and Christmas break in there, it's been a little bit hard to turn them all around, but they're due to be back shortly, and they'll be back up and running, cleaned and refreshed and ready to go. So as long as people are respectful of the space and make sure that it's kept in good condition for future seniors and senior classes, that'd be a good way to keep the space open. Another thing that exists is there's a lot of instructional space that surrounds H Courtyard, and when the volume level goes up and up and up because people are having a good time, right? They're socializing, they're talking to their friends, they're talking about homework, they're talking about what they're going to do in the weekend, they're talking about the game or whatever. There's no real low ceiling in there, so that sound just kind of echoes up and kind of carries out throughout the space. It's disruptive to classes.
We also had the chance to talk with Mr. Melander, the senior class advisor and student activities director, to ask why H Courtyard was closed recently and why eating is not allowed there.
Students come to me on occasion to ask me about H Courtyard and tell me that there are things happening there, or asking about why H Courtyard's been closed. I am the senior class advisor and the student activities director, so I get some level of questioning once in a while. It's been more heavy recently because of closures to H Courtyard.
And what caused the recent closures?
Well, there were actually a couple of them. There was one about 2 weeks ago that was caused by a pretty major disturbance, and it's been better this year overall than it has been in past years as far as volume in H Courtyard, people monitoring each other and general behavior. But there was one incident, I don't remember which period it was, where students were actually playing handball in H Courtyard. And also, the other reason is an ongoing increase in food, which is illegal on any surface that is carpeted in schools, and that's the New York State law.
Well, that was some interesting stuff. It looks like seniors won't be allowed to eat in H Courtyard for quite a while, but at least the iPads are coming back soon. We saw that opinions on the iPads differed, with some thinking they helped with study, while others didn't know if they helped too much at all.
As for what seniors themselves think about the courtyard, they seem to have differed opinions. Some think the seats in the middle create a divide between social circles, while others think it creates a nice environment for relaxing and talking with friends.
Mr. Powers offered some interesting insights into the rulemaking surrounding H Courtyard, giving us as seniors a perspective concerning these rules that we don't have much input into.
Thanks for joining us today, IHS, at this look into H Courtyard. With WRED, I'm Molly Long.
And I'm Joseph Lunine.
Guys, let's talk about something for a second. What is your opinion on what's happening in H Courtyard?
A few years ago, seniors were able to eat and use iPads. I hope we can get back to that through respectful behavior and communication with the administration.
So Wade, I heard you've been having some adventures in your kitchen of late. Anything good come out?
Why, yes, something did. Specifically, a delicious and quick breakfast sandwich. Let me show you how it's done.
Hi, welcome to Cooking with Teenagers. I'm Wade Engelhart, and I'm here to take you through a very easy to do breakfast, because we all know teenagers are lazy, they like to sleep in, and they don't always get as good nutrition before school as they need. So I'll be walking you through the finer points of making a breakfast sandwich that is delicious, easy, and quick. So here is everything you're going to be working with. You have your eggs, you have your sausage, brown serve, always good, nice and easy. You have any kind of bread you choose for the toast, nice and easy. And then optional is cheese. I know some of you like cheese. I personally do not, but hey, you gotta do it with the masses. For cooking, all you're gonna need is a bowl to scramble the eggs in, a fork to do the scrambling, a spatula and a pan to do the cooking. And then you can either cook the sausage in the microwave or in the pan itself. That is up to you. So first we start with your eggs. 2 eggs is a good start for a sandwich, and I personally like to scramble them so it's less of a mess. So what you need is a fork and a bowl, and it's simple as crack the egg into the bowl. Throw out your eggshells, of course. Okay, crack the other one. Now wash your hands, of course. You always need to wash after you're done cracking eggs. Next, you take your fork, you break both the yolks nice and good, and let the scrambling process begin. You just want that nice and mixed in. Easy as that. So once you have a nice mixture of all your ingredients, there you go, done with that. So now that you're at the stove, so I added a little olive oil to the pan to make the egg not stick. You spread it nice and around. Now after the pan's nice and hot, you take your egg, pour it right in. And like most of America, I know you guys enjoy some cheese. So I have some cut up cheese that I will be adding as the cooking process of this egg continues. So when you're cooking an egg, the key is to let the bottom get nice and cooked, and then you pull it in, and then the gooey inside continues to go out and get cooked some more. Simple as that. And you really want to start adding the cheese about midway through the cooking process so it gets nice and melted, which is, I would say, about now. So throw some cheese in there. And turning the egg over onto itself. It's a very helpful process to help speed up the cooking and keep it nice and together. So next is probably the easiest part of the process. You take your brown and serve sausage, put it out on a paper towel, throw it in the microwave, 1 minute, and then you wait. Awesome, now the sausage is done. Take it out, put your hand over it, feels if it's nice and warm. It is. Grab it. Keep it on the paper towel because it's still very hot. Alright, now for the final touches. And by the way, during the entire process, I had the toast sitting in the toaster oven waiting to be toasted. And here it is, just and easy. I know, why didn't you show us making toast? Because making toast is easy and you should be able to do that. So, quickly, just butter, scrape that over. So if you don't want to get your hands dirty, take a fork, pile all that egg onto one side. Make sure it's nice and compacted on there. Don't want any falling off or anything. And then take your sausages and you slice them down the middle. So you get a nice flat surface for them to sit on. Easy. So, final step, put the two together, and boom. You have yourself a quick, delicious, easy breakfast sandwich that you can even throw in the fridge and eat in the morning if you so happen to make it at night beforehand. See how easy that was? And now you have a quick, delicious breakfast that you will enjoy and get tons of nutrients out of, so you stay full all day.
Well, that was quick and simple. Good on you, Wade. Good on you. Many things have happened this year, whether they be tragedies or news and entertainment. 2013 has been quite a year.
Hey guys, I'm Ploy, and I'm supposed to tell you guys what happened last year in 2013.
Hey, guys, I'm Elijah.
About time you came.
Sorry, I was busy with never mind.
No, tell them. What?
How was your 2013, everyone?
Well, I went to this New Year's party, and there was... Well, I mean, I was just going to tell them there was a lot of lemonade. Jeez.
Oh, okay.
Okay, anyway, so 2013. Man, that was a long time ago. Well, let's see what happened.
Way to start the new year, guys. On January 1st, 3 people were injured and 2 people were killed in Sacramento during a New Year's Eve celebration.
Oh, here's another one. Celebratory gunfire kills a 4-year-old boy, and more than 400 people were injured by powerful firecrackers during a rowdy New Year celebration in the Philippines.
Well, moving on from that, Ray Lewis, the former Baltimore Ravens linebacker, announced his retirement on January 2nd.
Malala Yousafzai, the Pakistani schoolgirl blogger shot by the Taliban in October of 2012, was discharged from the hospital in the UK on January 4th.
Well, everyone loved Apple's Maps, right? Well, on January 6th, application developers announced that they gave Apple plenty of warning of the many difficulties with the apps.
In college football, the Crimson Tide beat the Fighting Irish in the 2013 BCS National Championship game. Manti Te'o probably cried to his girlfriend. Oh wait, it's a fake girlfriend.
In depressing news/shooting news, a gunman opened fire in a classroom at Taft Union High School at Taft, California. Gunman surrendered after a teacher told the gunman to put his gun down.
In movie news, the film Argo wins awards for Best Drama and Best Director at the 70th Golden Globe Awards.
In effed up news, Tennessee Highway Patrol Officer Michael Slagel is killed after his car hits an ice patch and crashes, and the responding fire truck hits the same ice patch and falls on top of the car.
In protesting, on February 13th, a Tibetan monk set himself on fire in protest of the Chinese occupation of Tibet.
In romantic murder news, on February 14th, Oscar Pistorius, the South African sprint runner, is charged with the murder of his girlfriend, Riva Steenkamp, who was shot dead at Pistorius' home in Pretoria.
In Friday the 15th news, more than 1,200 people are killed in Chelyabinsk, Russia, when a meteor breaks up and shatters windows.
In Lost Continent news, on February 25th, scientists discovered that they discovered the lost continent of Rodinia in the Indian Ocean. Are they sure they haven't found Atlantis?
And in baseball news, New York Yankees closer Mariano Rivera announces his retirement at the end of the 2013 season on March 9th.
On March 13th, Pope Francis is announced as the first Latin American pope and the first Jesuit pope.
In SEALs news, on March 29th, a U.S. Navy SEAL was killed in a training accident.
In feel-good news, Eli Reimer becomes the first teenager with Down syndrome to climb Mount Everest. This is not an April Fool's joke.
Go him. April 8th, former British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher dies at the age of 87 in London.
In bombing news, on April 15th, 2 explosions near the finish line at Boston Marathon kill 3 people, and 883 people were injured.
In stock market crash news, the U.S. stock market undergoes a flash crash when the hacked Twitter feed of the Associated Press falsely tweets the several explosions have injured President Obama.
In paradoxical news, on May 6th, U.S. Air Force Lieutenant Krasinski, who was in charge of the Office of Sexual Protection and Response, is charged with, anyone want to take a guess? Sexual assault.
Oh, surprise, surprise. In Coca-Cola news, a man sells what he believes is a secret recipe for Coca-Cola on eBay for $15 million.
In IRS Gone Bad news, the U.S. IRS admits that it has targeted certain conservative classes for special scrutiny. The next day, Stephen Miller, acting commissioner, resigns.
In women's life news, a new study shows that white blood cell levels decrease faster in men, which explains why women have longer lifespans. Go women!
In sad office news, on May 16th, the American adaptation of The Office airs its last episode on NBC after 9 whole seasons.
In whistleblower news, June 9th, Edward Snowden comes forward at the source for recent NSA leaks in the U.S. Then he flees to Hong Kong.
On July 1st, the U.S. commemorated the 150th anniversary of Gettysburg.
Edward Snowden also applies for political asylum in Russia.
July 13th, George Zimmerman is found not guilty in the Trayvon Martin shooting trial.
In drunk swimming news, John Morello chugged 8 beers and swam all the way to Detroit from Canada. By the way, he made it.
Wow. On August 1st, a raccoon runs off with a woman's pink wallet while on vacation. The raccoon eventually dropped it off in the forest, and the woman made her son go get it. What a great mom.
September 10th, Apple unveils the iPhone 5S and 5C.
8 days later, Apple unveils its new iOS 7 with an all-new interface.
October, the United States government goes into shutdown.
On October 21st, as soon as Sparks Middle School kills a teacher and injures 2 other students before killing himself.
Moving right along, November 1st, a gunman opens fire at LAX, killing a TSA employee and injuring several other people.
3 days later, another gunman opens fire inside the Westfield Garden State Plaza in New Jersey. Later, he kills himself.
Oh. November 8th, Typhoon Haiyan, one of the strongest tropical cyclones recorded to make landfall, hits the Philippines with confirmed 3 people dead. The numbers continued rising in the next day to 10,000 dead. November 13th, the official death toll is 2,500. 2 days later, the toll reaches 3,000.
And we end the month of November with the death of Paul Walker, who was killed in a car accident after attending an event in Santa Clarita.
December 5th, the South African leader Nelson Mandela dies of respiratory infection at the age of 95. Days later, people from all around the world come together to remember the great leader. Also, later on, we found that the guy who was doing sign language was just doing random hand gestures.
On December 18th, a 75-year-old Frenchman gets the first artificial heart transplant in France. He is doing just fine.
Christmas Eve, 2 astronauts at the ISS perform a rare Christmas Eve spacewalk.
And to end 2013,
Woo!
actor James Avery, best known for his portrayal of Will Smith's uncle in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, dies at the age of 68.
And just in from 2014, an Australian man was playing a game of hide-and-seek, and he hid in a washing machine. He was completely naked and drunk. He had to be freed with olive oil.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Great.
that's great. So, anyways, that's all that happened in 2013. Well, mainly. And a wonderful preview of this coming up year.
Yes, so, we're done here, right?
I think so.
Okay. So what about that party you went to?
Oh, so, there were so many people who were just... Finally, we have a new episode of our conversation with Dr. Brown. Recently, we sat down to discuss transportation issues in our district. Let's see what we learned.
Hello, and welcome to Inside ICSD with Dr. Brown, a show that takes a look inside the Ithaca City School District. I'm Parker Hubble, a senior at Ithaca High School, and my co-host is Dr. Brown, Superintendent of Schools. Our show is produced by English and digital media students at Ithaca High School. On this episode of Insight ICSD with Dr. Brown, we'll get to know the leadership of Ithaca High School, talking with Ms. Abad and Mrs. Kilns.
Thank you, Parker, and thanks for joining us, ladies. Yeah, if we could begin, just tell us a little bit about what you do to support academic achievement at the school and how your talents play into that role.
So I was a teacher in the district for 17 years, a department chair of world languages for 7 years, and now the last 3 years I've been lucky enough to work with Ms. Killens and others as part of the administrative team here at the high school. Among the things we do is to act as a liaison between the administration and the leadership team who make the instructional decisions here at the high school.
Outstanding.
And I am Takima Killens, and I have worked 15 years as a school social worker in many different places. I've worked in the charter school, I worked most recently in the charter school, and then I worked in Auburn, actually Auburn City School District, and went back to pursue administration. Started out as a dean in a charter school in New York City, the KIP Foundation, and then came to IHS. I've been here for about 2 years now, and as Ms. Abad said, we act as liaisons between families and students and teachers, helping students to make sure that they get what they need to successfully meet their graduation requirements.
So have you guys done any recent new policies to help improve the school lately?
Recent new policies. We have, in terms of new policies, no, but we have kind of reworded some policies. If you look at your student handbook, which my office is responsible for, you'll see that this year's there was a lot of things that were highlighted, things that I thought were a little confusing, ambiguous for kids, and so I tried to clarify it, changing the language a little bit and highlighting things to pull some things out for kids so that you don't get caught up, so that everyone clearly understands what the expectations are here and what we offer and how you can get support.
One of the things I do is to coordinate the testing in January and in June. So you may recall that last June, for the first time, the state invoked a serious and more strict policy about electronics during an exam period. So what you'll see next week during the January exam period is that once again, students will be surrendering their electronics just for the duration of the exam. And that's something we haven't done in the January period. You'll be hearing more about it.
Right. That was enacted actually in June, and that wasn't a school policy, that was a New York State policy that we then implemented and have tried to help kids to become a little more comfortable with it by putting out posters and giving you guys some, as we get information and knowledge, we share that with the school, with the students, with the parents. We send things home so that you guys are not surprised. Ms. Abad was responsible for that last year. My office is responsible for that this year. So you'll see, you will start to see actually now there's lots of posters being hung around the school to tell you when the dates are, when the tests are, and then you'll also have posters that will share with you guys where you need to take your electronics, why that needs to happen, because to tell young adults what to do without telling them why to do, why they're doing what they're doing, I think leaves you guys with a lot of questions, unanswered questions that you'd like answers to, and so we try to provide all that information for you guys.
Ms. Gillen, Ms. Abad, when speaking with IHS alumni this past weekend, they shared with me how academically challenging and how much fun they had at IHS. Even more academically challenging than their first year in college.
Yes.
If you could speak to some of the outstanding opportunities that we provide here at this high school for young people before, during, and after school that are highlights and things that are preparing them to be college and career ready.
Well, among the things that we've always been known for, at least certainly for the last 20 or so years, has been a very rich course offering in the AP realm. We have, in fact, 2 new courses this year, and we'll have 2 new courses next year. So it isn't only that we have a rich depth of offering, but we also are continually expanding it. Other things we're doing is expanding our course offerings online, so that for the first time this year, we've used a program called Aventa to pilot and see if we can't offer yet even more opportunities to students.
I think that IHS does a wonderful job of giving kids the academics, but also the hands-on experience. We have a wealth of extracurricular or co-curricular activities like Code Red that the students get together. And I just actually ran into some alumni this past Friday that were here, and they came back to help. It's the building season for Code Red, and they came back to help and give, lend their wisdom, their college wisdom. And two of them said that they had a more rigorous curriculum here, and they were well prepared given the extracurricular activities that they involved themselves in or that was availed to them through IHS that helped them to be better prepared for the programs that they were going into. Both of them were in engineering programs after doing Code Red here at the high school, and last year the Code Red team went to a championship last year. So that just goes to show the meshing of the academics and the actual hands-on, the application of what they're learning here at IHS.
Anything you want to know, Parker?
Not really. Do you have any more questions?
Yeah, anything new on the horizon? Things that are going to be exciting for young people to engage in the near future that they may not know of yet? Any teasers?
So I'm hoping everybody heard about bus passes. So we are now furnishing TCAT bus passes to students to make sure that if they want to stay after school or to be a part of an activity that is in session when the school's not in session, they have access to every opportunity here at the school. So if anyone hasn't heard about those bus passes, please go to your associate principal's office. We have a couple of upcoming things happening. We have the winter formal on February 8th, so we're hoping everyone will dust off their dancing shoes.
Right.
Will be held at Museum of the Earth, which is a pretty awesome place. If you haven't been there, just come to see that.
And it is our only all-school dance. So it's the only dance that freshmen and seniors and everybody in between can get together and celebrate and dance and have a really good time.
Yeah. There are plenty of activities. If anyone looks at the calendar and sees the wealth of sporting events every night, so between basketball and swimming and theater productions and just all kinds of things are happening all the time. So it's a plug for the calendar. Keep an eye on the calendar. It changes all the time.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, ladies. I learned much today about our school district and what's happening at IHS. And please continue to tune in and tweet at us. Let us know your thinking and what you wish to see as part of this outstanding show with Parker. Anything else, Parker?
No, that is all for today. Thank you for staying tuned with ICSD with Dr. Brown.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that's it for today. Thank you for watching.
We hope you enjoyed today's program.
For Jameson Nichols and Wade Engelhart, I'm Ploy Chutin Tananon. Until the next Red Eye, be well, Ithaca.
Also, stay classy.
And be well.